Supreme Strife comes to an end this weekend, and we want to talk about the finals matchup. We've been doing this over the last 3 weeks, and now we've gotten to the finals where we have 8 packs or teams that are vying for the Supreme Strife Championship. The map has just been revealed. We're going to talk all about this, all about the teams, all about the strategies, all the different things that go with it. And when we do, it's awesome to see how this particular game mode has caught fire and been such a great thing for the game. Hey everybody, I'm your boy War Daddy Chatsky. I put out videos all the time. Guides, live streams, fighting. I put out top 10 lists. I do all the tier lists. I do all kinds of stuff. And Supreme Strife is something I've been able to play in with my crew in 606. We've made it to the finals. I broadcasted the epic semifinal game last week on the official Lilith channel. I did it with Apo and Brian Koo, and we had a great time with that. And so this is the Supreme Strife preview to this weekend. And if you enjoy these videos, please throw a thumbs up on them and like them. Really helps out the channel. Also, if you're not subscribed, consider doing so. It does not cost you anything. You just hit the subscribe button and then be sure to hit the bell to get any updates or anything that I put out on my channel. I wanted to put this video out and put it together so people understood we have our map. Our map was just released today. And so we can go through all of this. You've got 60 GT up here. That's Cortex and his crew. Now GT obviously is contracting a little bit with some leadership turnover and stuff, but for KVK they might not be as big moving forward. However, for stuff like this, Supreme Strife and OL and other things like that, they are in really good position because they're still insanely powerful and insanely good. A lot of good gamers over there and all that. You have the OG squad that made it through. Burn Them All made it through. They were in the alliance with 60 GT, with Pink, and with One that went all the way through from last week. You've got us in 606. We are going to hammer home and have a good time doing it as well. You've got the One team who we talked about, massive power. This is a team that's made up of like all kinds of different kingdoms. You got 1093 people over there. Abu Hind, I believe, was in R4 over there when we were doing the broadcast. So you've got 1875 representation over there. It's a lot of fun. And then you've got the 2218 family with the DK18 crew. And then Pink. Pink was the MVP of the semifinals of all the matches because Pink was the pact that was sitting in the same spot, and they fought head to head with 2377. Really, they were one of the reasons, with help from One, they were one of the reasons 2377 didn't make it. And I keep circling this. That's not Ducky Souls. I was just referencing where they were last time on the map. But this is Ducky Souls. They made it through. They were in our bracket on our semifinal side last week, and so they've made it through. So now we can come through here and look. When we go through the semifinals, these were the packs that made it through. They really did a good job. Obviously, we've got a 13 billion power pact. Obviously, OG has got a very strong pact, and then DS and DK18. Over here on this side, you've got One. As we said, 77 was knocked out. 489 was knocked out. That was what was really interesting. 60 GT moved on, Pink moved on, and BTA moved on. And so with that, it was interesting to see because you had MTR and Vita that were allied with 489 and GB77, and they could not punch through and get through. You come back to the quarterfinal matches. It's really interesting to see the path. We were actually in one of these things with One and 489 in our group B in the quarterfinals. GB77 and BTA have already been in theirs before. And then over here you have OG and Pink. They were already with DK18. In this group, they already made it. And then DS and 60 GT were over in the semifinals together, all making it through. So that was your quarterfinals. And then you come into your prelims. We had all these kingdoms getting after it and having fun doing it. And so when all this stuff plays out, it has been great to see how we have gotten to the finals, and this is it now. One is going to carry the power. They got a ton of power. I mean, just a lot of big time players. They've got a ton of fighting power, but this is not all about fighting. This is about building. This is about strategy. This is about territory and how you set this thing up. The rules are really pretty simple when it comes to some of this. You got us here. You got 60 GT, OG, Pink, DS, BTA, and DK18. And so when you come into the map here, this has been dubbed. So everybody understands. Everybody's asking about the diplomacy. This is a free-for-all. This is a complete free-for-all. So what is going to happen is everybody's going to be fighting for these particular circles, these little structures right here. That gets you points. You want to fight for the points. So we're probably going to hook up with BTA, OG, and 60 GT are probably going to fight for this. Ducky, Souls, and Pink are going to fight for this. And 2218 and 1 are going to fight for this. And then it's a free-for-all for the Spire. How many times can you take it? How long can you hold it? How many points can you gain while holding your structure? So a free-for-all means always stupid always, as we used to say. It is just going to be crazy because you don't know what kind of side deals might be happening. I think most everybody wants to play this honestly, but you never know what's going to happen. And it should make out for a great finals. It's going to be wild in how this stuff works out. And I encourage everybody to tune in. The time is either going to be at 10 UTC on Sunday or on Saturday or 18 UTC, and we're all going to get after it. We're all going to fight our freaking faces off and have a good time with that. Now, the interesting part when it comes to this, there are rules to Supreme Strife, as we've talked about. You have situations with map info. This is how the map shows up. Okay, and when you spawn in your area, okay, you want to build towards that structure. Now, the hard part with 2377 last KVK, they weren't building enough flags. They just had a couple of flag lines going out. Meanwhile, Pink was filling up their area with flags, building super fast. You have like an enhanced skillful craftsman. Anybody that played KVK, you know that skillful craftsman allows you to build flags fast. Well, in Strife, you build flags extremely fast. So it is a flag territory competition as much as it is a fighting competition. Now, the hard part with this is that you lose troops very fast. When all your Sev wounds, a big portion of your Sev wounds go to the Hall of Heroes. So players that are only 90 or 80 or 90 or 100 million power, they can only fight for so long. They can't fight for very long. But you have to have build teams. You have to have all the different things that you need to play this game. And how they fight and how you do it is all just depends. And so with the power, obviously our boys in 1 have the reward. Here is some of the rewards. You got exclusive titles, you got marching effects, you got teleport effects, you got avatar frames, you've got 20 gold heads up for win here. You get the Supreme Strife city skin if you on a permanent basis, if you finish first, as we talked about. This is really, really cool as a summit of the Supreme. And so there are some cool rewards with this, and it works. That you can go through the match rules, and then you can go through the pacts and diplomacy and how that all works. And so it is really, really cool to see. And so overall, the other part of this is the auxiliary skills. Here's what's crazy. You're going to see a lot of different things. Like, for instance, here are my auxiliary skills sitting on my BQ. I run BQ Luce in the field. So I'm going to take this. Obviously, Caesar's first skill is massive. Okay, you have a 10% less damage. And if you have less than 60% units remaining, whenever you're hit, there's a 10% chance to reduce the damage by an extra 30%. That is really, really good, obviously, in the field. I'm looking for normal damage here, but you take less skill damage. You take less skill damage with the Boudica skill. And whenever their troop takes skill damage, it has a chance to gain a bonus to normal seconds for 1 second. 50% chance to do 25% bonus, 25% chance to do 50% bonus. So whenever you're hit with skill damage, which happens all the time in a murder ball, you can really enhance his smite damage that he does because you're boosting or you're giving bonuses to normal damage. All right, normal damage obviously affects smite damage and combo damage. And then from there, I use Joan, and Joan has got a straight 25% more normal damage bonus that really helps BQ. So you have all these different auxiliary skills. You have all these different ones. Here's my Huo one. I do skill damage here, and then I do some con stuff here where I deal 30% more damage when I'm full health, and then I do more skill damage here. So my Huo that I run with Joan is just laying out crazy amounts of skill damage. My Chen, I run Chen with Zuge, and the benefit that people have to run him with YSG is his 4th skill. So just put the 4th skill on Chen and Zuge. It's a broken march. It is absolutely broken. And because I have the auxiliary skills for Ramses, I use this one, and then there's Banana Helmet there, always giving us 30% health and 30% march speed on the map. And then I rally, and when I rally, I gotta rally with Pyrrhus. Okay, 10% health, 50% march speed, and you're going to deal 20% more normal damage. For Attila Subutai, that's like all damage. And then I have Henry. If this commander's troop is attacking a city or a stronghold, their troop deals 30% more counterattack damage. Holy, put that on Attila and try to swarm it down. Whenever their troop launches a basic attack, it's a 10% chance to increase the skill damage the target receives by 30% for 3 seconds. Now that's great when you're swarming the flag that you're rallying. So all kinds of benefit there. And then of course, Leo has a great stack of damage that he does. And so it is really, really cool. Now, here's the diabolical one. Arthur. Combos. Okay, I run Arthur with Philip. Philip has an instant proc. Alex has an instant proc. William has an instant proc. So I basically put all the instant procs on my Arthur. You ought to see this thing just rapid fire machine gun red numbers, because it's running instant procs from Philip, it's running instant procs from Alex, and it's running instant procs from William. It's all the commanders that run really well with Arthur. I just put them all in the auxiliary skills. And so it is diabolical to run that. And then I've got a Bertrand skill over here that I really, really like that does the rage situation of rage requirement after you get hit with active skills. And so from there, it is a lot of fun to see how this thing plays out. There's all kinds of tactics and strategies that go into this, and using these auxiliary skills, all the teams are doing it. Teams are honestly putting Chin in Garrison and then putting Garrison skills in with Chin. There's all kinds of Garrison skills you can do with Dido, with a Monotori. You put some Archer skills here. You put some Archer Garrison skills on the third skill that are a lot of Garrison skills. I mean, it turns into some crazy, crazy stuff that you can do. And so that's what makes this a lot of fun, because you can cook up some crazy Garrisons and some crazy rallies. And so this is the match. It's going to be a lot of fun. We encourage everybody to check it out. It's this Saturday, okay? This Saturday, the 13th. Okay, so September 13th, this Saturday, we're going to get after this. There's going to be a live Lilith broadcast on it. I encourage you to check that out. We'll have links for that in the description. And once we get an idea of when this thing is going to pop off, you've only got one vote right now selected. And I think this was us selected, 18 UTC. So any one of these times can be done on the 13th of September. And once it is, then you guys will have it all set up. As far as betting goes, okay, that's one of the other things that people have to look at. When you bet on this, because you have currency to bet, let's go put some bets in. So you have your Supreme Strife, then you have your bets, okay? And you can bet for whatever you want. I actually bet on one. I should have bet, I guess, for ourselves. So I'm probably going to get hazed from my crew for doing that. But I bet on one because I'm going to get good odds with one. Of course, GT is the odds-on favorite of this. Pink has got some bets. IN with 606 got some bets, but one is so super powerful. They have so much power, and they're really, really good. They're really, really busted. They've got great leadership with this. It is really, really good. So I hope we can beat them, because we're going to eventually fight for the Spire with these guys. But if we don't beat them, hey, I put the bets on it to win. So I kind of hedged a little bit. Don't be mad at me, 606. So from that standpoint, we really appreciate everybody. And if you got any questions about the Supreme Strife, throw them down in the comments. I'll be active down in there going through it all, and it will be a lot of fun. There's the map. Let's go have a good time with it. And with that, you guys have an awesome day, broskies.